right, so we're gonna make a 90-degree cylinder, meaning very straight walls on the side. So the first thing that I have to do, unless I want this very narrow, is to widen this, because as I pull, I know that my cylinders get very narrow. So the way that I widen is I just basically anchor my left arm, sort of hover out here, and then my right hand is gonna push down. My left hand's guiding. We're gonna widen this mound. So let's go ahead and see how wide it is. This is about 4.5. I think I'm gonna go a little bit wider. Sounds wild, but the way I pull, it gets narrower and narrower every single time I pull. All right, so that's 4 3/4. I think I'm happy there. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is make my opening. I always like to open at an angle, bend my fingers and widen it. This is stuff we've done a million times before. I'm gonna ease my pressure away and let's see how wide that is. That's 3 3/4. I think I'm gonna go to 4, just knowing my tendencies to make it really narrow by accident. All right, so there we go. That's 4 inches wide on the shrink ruler. I'm always using a shrink ruler. I've got a video on that if you've never heard of one. And I know my clay shrinks around 12%, so that's what I'm using. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this right angle on my wooden rib to create a right angle out here on my cylinder edge. Basically on the inside when it transitions from the wall into the base. And then I'm gonna travel inward because I want to make sure, because there was a high point out here, when I pushed down, it sort of displaced clay and it looked like there was a hole in the middle. So I'm just pushing that clay in towards the center. All right, so I got my opening done. I got my right angle in here in the wall. So now I'm ready to pull. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the heels of my hands and collar in on this top. Even though we want this to be a 90-degree angle when we're finished, we still need to pull at this inward angle, and then I'll just bring it out at the end. It's a lot easier to bring it out than to push it back in if it accidentally turns into a bowl. All right, so now the first thing to do is go ahead down here and make a nice generous notch. If you don't do that, you will not get the height that you want. It does cause this to get a little bit narrower, but I'm okay with that. That's just the way I pull. I open wider so that as I pull, I don't have to worry about it. So I'm just gonna travel up, pushing up and in towards the center. Basically, my inside hand is allowing it to come in. Once I get to the top, I'm just gonna run my finger along that rim just to keep it nice and compressed. I'm gonna keep this nice and collared. Can always bring it out. Basically, what I'm working on is this corner down here and getting height.